Thank you for tuning in to the Rootless Minds podcast. I'm your host, Noah Robertson. I talk to anybody, anywhere, about anything. And today I have on David.
Good to be here. Sounds really nice.
Your room's cool, man. Your
Thank
room's
you.
cool. Like I said, as soon as I walked in, why'd you put the hat on the president there, former president?
For everyone that can't see it, I have a Chinese. I don't want to really call it a rice paddy hat, but it's a rice paddy hat.
Yeah, it's like the hats they
On
use in
top-
the rice fields.
On top of a cardboard cutout of George W. Bush, and I did it just because I thought it looked nice.
It's hilarious.
It freaks me out often when I walk in my room, and I'm like,
You haven't got used to that yet? How long has that been there?
a while, probably a year. But every once in a while, I'll come home at like 3 a.m. and I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I've got my bathrobe hanging on a hook,
Mm-hmm.
and it's right next to my window. So every once in a while, there's like light coming through the window and the bathrobe, and the light shines on it, and I like sit up. It's been there for years now.
That one does it to me. The other one, it's just like right in the window. I'm
Yeah,
like,
David Hasselhoff.
I have a lot of
That's
cardboard
when he was
cutouts.
a young stud. What was that show he did with
Baywatch, I think.
No, that's Baywatch right there, yeah.
Yeah.
But what's I think he did one with like a talking car.
Knight Rider.
Knight Rider. I used to go to, she wasn't even my aunt. We just called her Aunt Jennifer. She'd like babysit us. And sometimes we would watch Knight Rider. And I never really fully understood it, but I still thought it was cool. Like he was solving crime with the talking car.
It was pretty cool. I liked that show.
Didn't they mention that in Guardians of the Galaxy?
I think so. It was also referenced in a different movie. I want to say it was one of the Austin Power movies, possibly.
How many Austin Power movies are there?
I think 3.
I've only seen one.
Oh,
I've only seen one.
they're
of
all
them.
pretty good. There's Goldfinger, The Spy Who Shagged Me, and then the other one.
The Spy Who Shagged Me?
Yes. I'm
Shagged.
like 90% sure that's what it's
Gee,
called.
Shaggy? Like, seriously?
It's British.
What does that mean?
You know.
Stabbed me?
No.
Raped?
Yeah. No, it's consensual.
Oh. I just skipped consensual.
It's consensual rape.
The Spy Who Fucked Me?
Yeah. Pretty
But-
much.
Just saying that, that's a weird way of saying the spy who consensually had sex with me.
I mean, pretty much. British people are weird.
British people are weird. They call people bloke. And I was listening to a podcast. It was called the Misfits podcast.
Okay.
And like a bunch of them were Australian. And their lingo was really weird.
I think the weirder one is Irish people.
Irish people are weird. I have an Irish friend. Half the time I can't even understand what that guy's saying.
Yeah.
I mentioned this on my last podcast. There was Irish song artist. She basically did like music, but she spoke in like an Irish mumble rap type of way, and you couldn't understand a word she was saying. And I was in my car with my friend. She was like showing me these songs, and I couldn't understand anything she said. So I just made a little game out of it, and I decided when she says things, I'll try to repeat what I think she said.
Okay.
And it would just go, go, and go. And while we were driving, it got to a part where I thought she said Pikachu. And I was,
Pikachu?
Pikachu? And no, not Pikachu, Noah. No. I can't understand her. I can't. I don't know. She's weird. I don't like mumble rap either. What music do you listen to?
I listen to most everything other than reggae and like metal
Mariachi music?
and mariachi. I
Yeah,
don't like mariachi
exactly.
music. I
Again,
used to,
Another coworker.
but yeah, ever since Buffalo.
Ever since Buffalo, it just ruined it. Every night, 10 o'clock on the dot. You know, I go through my night not looking. I wear a watch everywhere. And I go through my night not looking at my watch because I want to have the time go by faster and stuff. But as soon as that mariachi music goes on, I'm like, oh, it's about 10 o'clock.
Yep.
I know I have like 3 more hours here. Yay. I despise it. I used to love it. Now I despise it.
Yeah, I listen to like a lot of rap, a lot of white rap.
Why rap? Eminem?
Less Eminem. I used to listen to Eminem a lot when I was like.
He's not as relevant now. I mean, everybody
Yeah.
got to recognize he was the rap god. Absolutely.
But yeah, now it's a lot of like smaller artists.
J
less
Apollo.
known. The whitest rapper I know.
Justice is hilarious. Justice is so funny. He uses my gang sign. I told you about this.
No.
No, this is so funny because Justice is very black and he knows completely what this is. Like, you know how people were saying this meant white power because Discord started it and everybody was getting trolled?
Yeah.
I sort of jumped onto that and added to it just to troll people even further. And I made this. This is a sign for R, and this looks like a W. White is right.
Oh my god.
People thought this meant white power, but it was really just Discord trolling the internet.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to like troll some people too. And Justice thought it was so funny. And now every once in a while we're like, ah.
Oh my god.
What are your thoughts on aliens, man? Have you ever truly thought about aliens?
A few times. I think that
You think if they are relevant, what do you think about it?
they more than likely do exist, but I don't think we'll see them in our lifetime. I think they're way too
You
far.
don't think they visited secret visitations?
Maybe.
Like Men in Black scenario?
Maybe, but I feel like it would be like well known. I don't think it would just be like a secret. I don't think they would have just showed up and been like talked to a few people and then left. You know what I mean? I feel like they would have come in and just like shown their power. Just been like, all right, you guys are our minions now.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Our minions. So people think about aliens. Usually they think about like Martians, like skinny green people with big green heads and big black beady eyes. No. If aliens do exist, they're going to be so different than what we think.
Can't even imagine.
Yeah, just they're probably going to have even different senses than us. There's high chances they're like superior and let's just say they're just like a humanoid figure. Likely they're not. But let's just say they are. There's a shrimp. It's called the mantis shrimp. You know about the mantis shrimp?
Sounds familiar,
It's
but
got
I can't recall.
the strongest, strongest per body ratio like punch in the world.
Okay.
And it like when it hits with this little club fist, it like creates a vacuum in the water, and that vacuum also implodes.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Mantis shrimp are cool. They also have like eyes, big eyes, like they can see like 16 more colors than us or something.
Yeah.
And these eyes have 3 different sections. I don't know which section does which, but they have far superior vision to us.
Okay.
A shrimp that's in the ocean has better vision than us.
And they're tiny.
And they're like little tiny shrimp. So these aliens, they could have like, they could be past vision.
They could be shrimp.
The aliens could be shrimp. That's true. They could be aquatically based. And they could be just like, what are these apes doing walking on land?
They
Freaks.
show up with the fish bowls upside down on their head.
Yep.
That would be awesome.
I like that. Going back to the old scuba diver suits.
Yeah.
With like metal, but it's got that little window. Why does it have the window on the sides? You can't see out of that anyways.
I mean you can. You can kind of see
a little
like
bit of peripheral.
90
So you see the shark swim by and you're like, oh, I'm done.
Yeah, you're like you can't do anything about it, but at least you know.
More people die from dog attacks than shark attacks per year.
I believe it. Because
And,
people are more scared of sharks.
Yeah. Plus sharks don't really go after you to eat you unless they like think you're a seal on accident or something. Usually you get instances like, have you seen Soul Surfer the movie?
No.
I don't know when it came out. Sometime around 2010 to 13 probably.
Okay.
That's just a complete guess. I could be completely wrong. But it was about a girl based on a true story. She like avid surfer. She competed in everything. She lived in Hawaii. And she was out surfing with friends and a shark bit off her arm. And then the shark didn't go after her to finish her off or anything like that. He just bit off their arm and then left. That's usually the case. Sharks like take a chunk out of you, realize you're not a seal or whatever they're trying to eat,
And they're like,
and then they just bail.
no thanks.
They don't want that.
Not quite caviar.
Yeah, they don't want that burger-ridden human.
I mean, I wouldn't. I'd be like, oh, that's
Seriously.
disgusting.
Come on, people. Like cannibals. How can you? Come on, cannibals. You can't like that disgusting sugar, carbohydrates, ridden human flesh. You're saying you've tried human?
No, that is funny though, because I was talking about the Donner Party the other day.
What's that?
Essentially when America was like transitioning over to the West Coast, way back in the day, back during Pioneer. There was this family called the Donner family, Donner Party, that was traveling. There was like, I want to say 8 of them. They were in a wagon with a horse and everything. And so they're coming over the mountains and they get hit by a snowstorm and they just have to stop. They can't move. They're just stuck where they are.
Okay.
So they make camp. They sit there for a while and then they realize, like, we're going to die here. Like, we're dead. And so they just start choosing straws and eating each other. And they survived for like a bit longer. And then I believe they got down to like one person. Like, it was the very last person.
The last cannibal.
Another group came up and saved him. And so they had this whole diary of just everything that they did and like how they
butchered him, what seasonings work best. I heard this right
Cannibal
here.
cookbook.
The meaty part of the thumb is like the tastiest part. If you have to go cannibalistic, eat that last or as a treat or something like that.
Oh, that's good to know.
The opposable part of the thumb.
If you have to eat your hand, I know which part to eat last.
No. If you had to eat somebody else's hand.
Oh.
Because if you have... Why would you... That makes no sense, man. Let me cut my arm off so I can eat it, so I can make up for all that blood loss I just got. No. It's eating somebody else.
But yeah, that would have sucked for that last person. They're just like... They've already given up. Like, they've eaten everybody by this point. They're probably disgustingly sick.
Oh yeah.
And then it's like, oh, we're here to save you.
Oh, that boy just didn't even want to be saved. I regret it all.
I don't want to live.
Have you played? I think it's called Until Dawn. Yeah, Until Dawn, the PlayStation exclusive.
No,
it's
I've never owned a PlayStation actually.
Really?
Or an Xbox.
You've always been exclusively PC.
PC and Nintendo.
Dang. I don't know. It might not be PlayStation exclusive, but I'm pretty sure it's not on Xbox. But I got it for a PlayStation, like if you have PlayStation Plus, you get a free game each month.
Yep.
I got it for one of those, and it's kind of like a Telltale game.
Okay.
And a bunch of people, it's a family, they go up into the mountains, and then one of them like they're getting chased by something. They don't know what they're getting chased by. And 2 girls are running. One of them slips. The other one grabs a hand. This one falls and supposedly dies. You're made to think the character, spoiler alert, you're made to think the character dies.
Say it afterwards.
And
but you don't really know.
Yeah, then like everybody's really somber and crap. And then I think a year later, couple years, something like that, the whole family comes back. Just the teenagers though, no adults.
She's not dead.
She ain't dead, exactly.
Oh, no.
You don't learn that yet though.
Oh,
they come back to their nice cabin lodge area up in the mountains, and they're called the Washington family, and they get snowed in. Like you said, that family that got snowed in, and the start of it, one guy, he's making it seem like people are dying and all this crazy crap is happening and everything's spooky, and like
he probably lives there or something like that.
No, he's
like
part of the family. I think it was
just telling like a story, like a fake story.
He was like pranking them.
Okay.
I think he was getting back at them or something weird, and then it
turns out he's not wrong.
The whole time, like, you play as the different characters in the different parts.
Oh, that's sweet.
They all get like split up in different areas, and some of them actually die, and he doesn't know they die because he's over here pranking these ones, and he's like, haha, I got you at a certain part, and they freak out on him and they say, she's actually dead. He's like, what? And yeah, like some people were actually died, and in their area, the people that actually died, they get killed by this weird monster. It's like really long and lanky and claws and like very pale skin, no hair, disgusting.
It's like Waluigi.
Sure.
Okay.
Like a skinless version of Waluigi. And and it crawls like a monster. It's a very scary game. And at that time, everybody knows we're in deep shit.
Yep.
And they start like everything just starts hitting the fan. This monster's coming after them. Then like more monsters start coming after them, and it turns out you eventually learn these monsters develop because there's like a Native American hex or spell or something like that on the mountain, where if anybody goes cannibalistic in the mountain, they like turn into this monster. I forget the name of this monster, but they slowly transform into this monster.
So the girl,
she survived.
She ate herself?
No, not herself. Her other friend might have fallen with her.
Okay.
But the thing is, she ate somebody, and she turned into this monster, and then everybody else turned into the monster. And at the very end, like, they realize this is the girl, and they're all freaking out. And when I played through it, you can get, I think, everybody or most everybody through to the very end, but I only survived with 2 people because it's actually a pretty hard game, very fun.
Yeah.
And
realistic.
Yeah, it was nice. It was very nice. It's like speed trials where like you're running and there's like
press a button.
Yep. You got to go left, got to go right, and then that chooses whether you die or not.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can go back and play the game and make different decisions and save more people and progressively do that until you get everybody. Or you can just get really freaking lucky and win at the very start.
Yeah. Or you could just only keep one person alive, then be like, I'm okay with that.
I just played through it once. I know like PewDiePie and a bunch of other people played it. And have you seen like Man of Medan? Something like that?
I'm pretty sure I have seen Until Dawn.
Yeah.
It sounds very familiar.
Until Dawn was the first one, and then they made the second one, which Man of Medan was like played the same way.
Same company that made it?
Yeah, same company.
That's good. No, but is it the same like setting? Or is it just a different story?
Completely different story, but same
style.
type of game style, yeah.
Okay.
It's a very fun game, very horror driven, super intense for sure. Like played at night, switch the lights off, etc.
It does sound fun.
Let's go back to aliens, because
Okay.
I'm infatuated with aliens. Assuming they are the humanoid figure we talked about, they can be so many ways they're superior to us. Like they could have higher gravity on their planet, which will inherently make them stronger,
right?
Because they have to be so. And then they can be bigger than us, not much bigger. I watched a Vsauce video where it was talking about like how big can people get, and there's a certain point where our bone structure just can't. Our bones and ligaments and muscle mass and everything just can't support us at a certain height.
Unless they just don't have bones.
Yeah, they might just have an exoskeleton. In that case, they have an exoskeleton. Or they could be like an octopus type thing where they don't have either, and they're just super flimsy, and they've got like really strong muscles, so instead of having opposable thumbs to grab on things, they could just wrap their tentacle around it.
Have you seen, I think it's called Life with, I can't remember who exactly is in the movie. But it's these 4 people. They're up on the space station, and they're like testing on this new life form that they think they found.
Okay.
And they like fed it somehow. They got it to actually grow, and it turns into this little like blob, which eventually becomes almost like a starfish. And it's got its like 5 little hands. It looks pretty much like a starfish. And moral of the story is don't mess with like aliens.
I'm guessing it like broke out and killed them all.
Yeah.
This little starfish.
Yeah, it acted like it was dead. It was a very intelligent little blob, and it discovered how to like turn off its vitals so that all of their machines start just going off. Like all their sirens are going off, and they're like, shit. And they run in there and they like put their hands into the thing, and they're like trying to figure out what's
with
wrong
the gloves.
with it. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the little starfish just like grabs the dude's hand and does a 180 with him, turns him upside down, and just like breaks all of his fingers, just bends all of them back. And then just pushes its way through the glove. Like it literally breaks the glove. And they just have to leave the dude in there. Like, sorry, man.
They do one of those, pull the hatch, secure the door, starfish gets locked in, and then the starfish finds like an air vent or something and starts making its way through.
Yep.
Is that exactly what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It went through the the like emergency vents that were going off,
Mm-hmm.
and they like shut them all off, but it just like pried it open and got out. And the very end of the movie is just like a big ol' like plot twist where you're like, what? It's a good movie though.
I'm
It's
not
very
going to watch
scary.
it. Go ahead and say spoilers.
Oh, well, spoilers. The very like last thing they do is they send out this pod. They send out 2 pods, one that's like going out into space and then one that's going towards Earth. So the girl's gonna get saved and then the dude is just gonna like take the alien off by himself. But what
Mhm.
ended up happening is they shot both of them out and they knocked into each other.
And
so
then
his goes
they
towards
split
Earth
off. Yeah.
with the alien, and hers, it's just her, and she just goes off into space and dies just slowly. And so his lands on Earth, and these like fishermen dude walk up and they're like, what's going on? And they open up the hatch and just poof, that's the end of the movie. It got to Earth and more than likely killed everyone.
Yeah.
Because like they couldn't kill it. There was nothing they could do. It just rehealed.
Did they try burning it or whatever?
Yeah, I think they tried burning it. They tried like freezing it. It even like was out in space for a good part of the movie. It was outside the spaceship, just like moving around and like breaking in.
Yeah, that's the thing about aliens, man. They could be so far superior to us. Like they could view us the way we view monkeys. Like monkeys have, I think, a 2% DNA difference to
Mhm.
humans.
Yeah, they're pretty close.
And just that 2%, and we look at them like basically retarded animals in comparison to humans. Like
Yeah.
they don't have nearly as much intelligence as we do. They can use simple tools and stuff like that. Like what like the smartest monkey can do, toddlers for humans can do. And that could be completely switched. Like our Einsteins and stuff could be like the toddlers for this alien species.
Yeah.
So if they were to come like visit us or invade us or find out about us, they can look at us and think like,
These
why
people are
even
stupid.
bother?
Yeah.
They're so dumb. They're inferior. They don't even matter. Why bother? And so they could like turn us into like space slaves where we mine some like space ore so they can get space high or crap. Aliens are scary, man.
Have you watched the Orville at all?
Or Orville,
Yeah.
Orville.
Orville, I think.
No.
It's got Seth MacFarlane, and it's pretty much Star Trek, but more of a comedy than Star Trek.
Okay.
And they're in this like Federation type thing, and their whole rule is you can't interfere with a planet until they have figured out space travel.
Yeah.
So I almost want to believe that it'd be like that, where they're just waiting for us to like master space travel and figure out like hyperspace or something like that until they come and talk to us.
Yeah, that might be the case for like alien visits. Why they haven't just made themselves completely apparent. They might just be like picking up humans, doing some experiments, dropping them off,
dropping them back, probing butts.
Yeah, that's always the way to go, through the butt. If you like put alcohol in your butt, don't you get drunk faster, or is that just a wives' tale?
No, that's apparently a thing. You can like put stuff up there and it'll go like that.
Time to snort coke with your butt. So Orville, what was that?
The Orville. It's
Yeah.
a good show. It's a really good show. I think there's only like, I want to say 2 seasons out right now.
Oh, it's recent. It's new.
Oh yeah, it's
Okay.
still going. But it's really funny. Seth MacFarlane's great. They've got this. They talk about all types of topics. One of them was like, they had a whole episode about these 2 guys that were married that came from a planet of all men. It was just men. And
Strictly men.
yeah, the whole planet.
Okay.
If there were women that were born, they would go through a procedure to make them a man. And that was like the culture on that planet. And so what ended up happening was
Do you know how people were born?
they would lay eggs. Like the males would lay eggs.
And then would another male fertilize it?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay.
But there were 2 of them that were on the ship, working on the ship. And they had a egg. And what ended up happening is the ship's like, well, you work under the Federation. You can't do that procedure. Like it's not okay with our rules. And they're like, well, this is our culture. This is what we do. And what ended up happening was one of them didn't want to do it. Like one of the 2 guys didn't want to do it and the other one did. So they had to go back to their home planet and go into like court essentially. And what ended up happening was the captain, Seth MacFarlane, went and found a female that was living on the planet. And she was like this like person that the whole planet looked up to, but didn't realize it was a female. They all thought it was a male.
Okay.
And so he brought her in and was like, see, women can be good too. Because her whole thing was like, women are inferior type thing. Like, look, you guys all look up to this person. How can you say that women are inferior? And they still went through the procedure. They still went and did it anyways.
They turned her into a male?
No. The baby.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what ended up happening to her. She probably was just fine. But yeah, it's a good show.
I love shows like that. Have you seen Red Dawn or heard about it?
No.
It's old. It's like an old, like you were saying, it's like a Star Trek type show, but it's an older comedy version. And I think there's 2 or 3 guys on the ship, and then you've also got the ship navigation system.
Okay.
And it's just them the entire show. And so it got stale pretty quick, but at the start it was pretty funny. I think it was like British comedy or something, maybe BBC or something like that. Okay. I know they had accents. And it's pretty funny. The main guy was like not that intelligent in some way, but the way he did things was funny. I remember a specific scene where he was talking to the ship navigation system, and the ship navigation, it was an AI, and he was talking to it, and the AI said, all right, it's official. I've read every single piece of literature ever written, everything ever written in mankind ever. I've read it all.
That all sucks.
And the AI got really bored, and he said, I want you to delete this certain part of my code so I can go back and do it so I'm not bored anymore. And he said, okay, like, tell me what to do. He said, do this, click on that, swipe this, clean all that. And after he did it, he's like, all right, it's done. What's done? I cleaned the system like you said. I didn't say anything. No, you just told me to release this bit of information so you can go out and read to that. No, he didn't. And it's just like funny little crude humor like that. Good show. But yeah, it got stale pretty quick. I eventually skipped to like the last episode, second to last episode. Yeah. And they were really old, and they like visited Earth, and I think there was nobody on Earth or something like that. I don't know.
One last time.
Yep. Old people. What's your favorite game, man?
Oh,
because clearly you're a gamer.
Everywhere. It's a hard question. If I had to choose it.
He has Duck Hunt.
I do. Ooh. I don't know if I can like stand up, but I would show you. That cabinet right there is pretty dope. It opens up and it has like these sliders that come out.
Mm-hmm.
Like they roll out with just a bunch of games on them.
Wait, you said you've never owned an Xbox? There's Xbox controllers right there.
Yeah, I use those for my PC.
Oh,
where
okay.
I used to. I don't really use them anymore. But if I had to say hands down, I would say my favorite game is called Life is Strange. If you've ever heard it.
Oh, I actually have asked you this.
Also like Telltale, similar to Telltale.
You said there's like a time traveling aspect?
Yeah. So I'm actually currently playing the Life is Strange 2, and it's just not as good. I still enjoy it. It's a really fun game, but it's just not as good as the first one, because the first one, what you would do is you would make a decision, something would happen. You're about to get punched, let's say, and you could be like, I'll just take the punch for my friend, or I'll fight back, or something like that. You do it, you see the result, and then you can literally go back in time for 5 seconds and then choose the other one, see what the result is. And like both of them have good and bad consequences. And you just have to choose, be like, would I rather have myself seen in this way, or would I rather have myself seen in this way? And which is really nice, because I feel like in most Telltale games, it's like, this is the right answer, this is the wrong answer. But in this one, it's like, you don't really know. There's both good and bad. And even the very final, there's always a final decision in every game that they make.
Mm-hmm.
And every single one is like, they're both good. Well, really, they're both bad. They're both like horrible that you have to make the decision. It's so like heartbreaking that you would have to even choose, let's say, between like saving your mom or saving your dad. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not a decision you would have to make, or you should have to make. It's
Okay.
awful. But it really makes you like feel like you feel like you're the one in that situation. You're the one making the decisions because you really are. It's not like a quick response because you have time to go back and change what you did. So you know, like, this is what I chose, this is what I did. And there's a whole section where there's a few parts in the game where you can't change your decision, and that's usually if something like really catastrophic is about to happen.
How does the changing decision work? You said you reach a certain point, you can go back in time, choose the other path. Is it just like viewing the path and then you choose, or is it you take left and then you either have to stick with left, or you take right and then from there you can't choose?
You can keep like rewinding time.
Mm-hmm.
You like go left, you see exactly what your decision happened.
Okay.
And then you go back the 20 seconds or whatever it is. Then you can go right, see what would happen, and you can decide to go back to left, or you can stay on right, or whichever one you want. You can keep going back as much as you want. But yeah, there's one part where you throughout the game you're like you meet this person that's pretty depressed, and you try to like talk with them, but they're very standoffish, and like no matter what you do, it's just like they don't really want to talk to you. But if you like keep trying at it and just you go to them, you're like always trying to be with them. I don't want to spoil it too much because it's a really good game and everyone should play it. But
what
yeah.
platforms are it on? Is it on?
I'm pretty sure it's on everything. I know it's on Xbox. I know it's on PC. It might be on the Switch, and I'm pretty sure it's on PlayStation. But it's an older game now. It's probably like 6 years old, but it's really good. It's probably like only $10 for like the way they do it is they'll sell the first what they call chapter.
Okay.
And then they'll sell the rest, the other 4 separate, so you can kind of like feel if you like it or not by playing the first chapter, and then you can buy the rest.
Is it like going to be $10 per chapter, or is it first chapter $10 and the other 4 is like 2 per, or $4 for the rest of the entire bundle?
I just bought this new one was I want to say $30 for the whole game.
Okay.
For all 5. So this other one is I'd say total about $12 for the old one to do the whole thing. I'd say that's probably a good estimate.
You said that was your favorite one.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, it's one of those games where you really can only play it maybe 2 times all the way through, which is sad because I really enjoyed it. And I wish they would make another one very, very similar. Like this one I'm playing right now, it's good, but it doesn't have that whole time travel aspect. It still has those decisions where you're feeling like both of these are good, both of these are bad, type thing.
Mm.
But it was something about just being able to see the exact result of what was going to happen, and then having to choose like, this is what I need to do. This is what I need to go and do. It just made it so much better.
How many different outcomes of the game are there? Is it just 2? Or is there multiple? Like if you go left, then right, right, left.
It's a really
right, left.
long game. I want to say it's like an 8-hour game.
That's not that long.
Well, for like I guess it's not that long.
Hollow Knight's $15, and I spent 60 hours playing that game. Great game.
Okay. I mean, I
Best
could say
indie
the
game
same
out
about
there.
like Binding of Isaac. I probably spent like similar, but I've spent thousands of hours on that game. Ultimately, there is one decision at the very end. You do this or you do that. But there's a lot of smaller decisions that decide a lot of different things, like if you end up dating someone, or if you end up losing someone in your family, or things like that, or how your relationship is with your dad, or how your relationship is with your classmates, or how you treated someone that you didn't really like, things like that. That will affect the game in other ways. Like if you were nice to someone at the beginning of the game, they might come back later on and end up like repaying that in some way.
Okay.
Bail you out of like a tough situation. But yeah, ultimately there's just the one decision at the end. It's either this or that. And you don't know what it's going to be until the very end.
Mm-hmm. That sounds really fun. I really like those types of games that like it's not always just a set path. You actually get to decide this or that.
Mm-hmm.
And you said it kind of reflects who you are because of all the little decisions.
Yeah.
And you're like, would I prefer this? Like you said, my mom or my dad, you got to choose. And then because of that, certain scenarios pop up, makes you choose again. That's really fun.
Yeah. It's a very emotional game. At least it was for me. But
like
it is
ups and downs or mainly somber?
ups and downs.
Okay.
I'd say ultimately it's a really sad game. It's the storyline is that you used to live in this city. It's set in Oregon. It's called Arcadia Bay, which I believe is a real place. I think they always make real places. The current one I'm playing is in Washington, and they have like the actual roads and places that you can go to that like I've been to some of them. I'm like, oh God, that's like actually the place. But this other one's set in Arcadia Bay. She used to live there when she was a kid. She moved to Seattle pretty much without a choice, and had to leave her best friend behind.
Okay.
And her best friend, it just completely changed. She was like this really nice kid, became super depressed, super like emo punk rock type thing. And like, so the punk rock girl's name is Chloe. The other one is named can't think of it right now for some reason. But anyways, main girl moves back to Arcadia Bay.
Okay.
And is like transitioning back into this world that she left like 10 years ago. And so she left when she was, I want to say it was like 4th grade or something. And she's coming back as like a junior in high school. And like, there's some people who are completely the same. There's still like the douchebag, super rich kid. There's still the like really nerdy group. But then there's some people who've like just completely changed. Everything's different. And you're like, huh, that's really weird. And throughout the game, you find these pictures. And she has like a power, which is the time travel thing.
You said 20 seconds, right? Or about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you try to go too far back, it'll like hurt her brain, and she's like, and she kind of like passes out, which is always fun. But she can, whenever she picks up an image, she can like go into the image and see what was happening when the image was taken. So she can just like jump into a memory essentially. So she'll have just like a scrapbook, and
like Mario 64.
Yeah. They ripped it off. But yeah, you can just like go back into the past, and it gives you like a whole backstory of just what life was like.
Is that part required for the story, or is that completely optional side things?
Completely optional.
That's good.
It's honestly just a lot of for your knowledge if you wanted to know and get a better understanding of like why things are happening, why people are reacting in certain ways. And the more that you do that, you're like, that makes more sense. I understand why my best friend is just like completely horrible now. Not horrible, but just like 180'd from when they used to be.
Completely changed, yeah.
Yeah, they've made 3 games now. The other one was called I want to say the prequel, and it was
Is that the same universe as the other game?
Yeah, they're all in the same universe. It's all just set in just Earth and just like real life. But the other one was you follow the punk rock girl, her life. Okay. And you start off when she's just like a kid and she's happy, and then all of a sudden your best friend is like coming up being like, I gotta leave. I'm going to Washington. Bye. Yeah. And then you like text her and she never texts back, and you just feel like so depressed.
You get the other side of the story, yeah.
Yep. And then something tragic happens that I won't go into, but it's that one's good too, but again, doesn't have the whole time travel thing. It's still really good. I love all 3 games.
Yeah, you basically love these developers, don't you?
Yes. It's made by Square Enix.
Oh yeah.
which is nice.
Any gamers know Square Enix makes good crap. Absolutely.
And then this third one is about these two Latino boys who
It's Latinx now, David.
it's sorry, Latinx.
I think Comedy Central did a skit on that, where a girl was talking to somebody, and he's like, "Yeah, that's my ex over there. He's Latino. Oh, it's actually Latinx. Yeah, that's what I said.
That's
My
Latinx.
that's my ex. That's what I said. My ex is Latino. No, you should call them Latinx. They're just my ex. Why do I have to specify that they're Latin? And it goes through that whole system.
It's a weird world we live in.
Yeah, it's getting weirder, man. It's getting weirder. Keep going. I thought that was funny.
Oh, it says these two Latino boys, and at the very beginning of the game, they're playing outside, and a cop pulls up, and he doesn't really understand the full grasp of the situation. These two boys were like fighting outside.
Okay.
Not the two, but one of them and a neighbor. And
hold on, I'm confused.
one of the Latino boys, and
the two little Latino boys?
Yeah.
One of them was fighting with a neighbor?
Yes.
Okay.
And they got like, I want to say it was like a juice. It was something that looked like blood on the other kid's shirt. So it looked like he was like messed up.
Uh-huh.
And the cop didn't know what was going on. He was just showed up and he was like, there's blood. He's thinking like, oh no, these people are about to kill this guy. And so their dad walks out and he realizes, he's like, hey, everything's fine. Put down the gun. Nothing's wrong. And then the cop is just like freaking out and he shoots the dad. And the two kids are like,
you really just doled down that entire situation.
It went by
a lot of
really
freaking
quick.
out and everything. And you just said, yeah, kids, bloody shirt. The dad got shot.
It goes by like that. And that's probably what it would be like in real life. Is just like, boom,
yeah, real quick.
done. And you're like, and their very first reaction is like, we're about to get taken away. We're going to be put in foster care. We need to run. So they just
Do they have
bolt.
a mom?
Nope.
Okay.
They did not. So they just bolt and they end up going. They lived in like, I forget what city, somewhere in Washington, but I forget the city. But they run down to like east of like Tacoma area.
Okay.
They're over just in the woods and they're just running away from the cops essentially. And every once in a while people will like recognize you and be like, aren't you that kid that's like on the news? And they're trying to find, and they're just trying to they're trying to run away from realizing that their dad died essentially. I'm not super far into the game. I think I'm only on chapter 2, but yeah, they're just trying not to let that catch up with them and figure out like, we have to deal with this.
Was this also made by Square Enix?
Yep.
Okay.
Same
universe as well?
Yeah.
Was this the first, second, or third one?
It's the third game, but it's called Life is Strange 2. Because there was Life is Strange, and then there was the prequel, and then...
And the prequel
2.
was with the emo girl, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm excited, but also sad to see what the final decision on this one is, because everything so far has already
You haven't finished it yet?
No,
Okay.
I'm only about 2/5 through.
Is it new, or did you just purchase it? It's already come out.
I just purchased it, but it's about a year old, I think. That sounds about right. But yeah, good games. You should at least try the first one. You should at least try the first one.
I will. Yeah. You said it's on PlayStation? You think it's on PlayStation?
Should be, yeah.
Life is Strange. I'll check it out. When you said good game, you're like, it's been about a year until it's come out. I spoke about this on my first podcast. I really liked The Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a great game. Some people didn't like it because there's certain parts of the game where like it's really boring, where like you got to pick up this plank, carry it over here, set it down, and you do that so many times in the game.
Yeah.
You hop in water. Literally Ellie, which is the little girl,
Yeah.
There's a part of it where she's like, oh, yeah, I know what to do. We do this all the time. It's where Joel jumps in the water, and he's got to go grab a pallet for Ellie to hop on because she can't swim.
Right.
And then he, like, shimmies her over to a different area. And honestly, it's those parts are really boring. But the
game
character
itself.
development is amazing. The story is so good. The gameplay is super fun. The mechanics are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes with games I'm really excited about, I like look up YouTube analyses.
Analysi, maybe? Not really sure.
Analyses? Whatever. I look up multiple YouTube analysis and I like watch advertisement breakdowns and gameplay videos, etc. of like games I really want to get.
Yeah.
But with The Last of Us, I've watched a bunch of those, and The Last of Us 2 is going to be coming out. It's where Ellie's actually the main character, and because she's
this year, right?
Yeah, it comes out spring, I think. And the new PlayStation, because this is a PlayStation exclusive, the new PlayStation comes out winter. I'm going to wait until winter to get the new PlayStation and get The Last of Us, because guarantee it's going to come out on the new PlayStation. But it's going to be really hard for me to avoid watching clips and game through and everything.
Feel it. Yeah.
Gameplay videos, playthroughs. Because it's a very story-driven game. Like, you can watch Call of Duty playthroughs and you won't get any spoilers.
And it's going to be all over YouTube.
It's going to be all over YouTube. Especially because I've already watched a bunch of videos on it. YouTube's going to recommend those videos. And
you like The Last of Us?
Recommendation for you. Dude, I love the premise of The Last of Us. It's based on the spores called cordyceps. You heard about those?
I know quite a bit about the game.
I
never played it, but I watched a lot of playthrough of it.
Yeah.
And just how like she was kind of like experimented on and all that.
No.
Am I crazy?
You are. No, there's the spores called cordyceps, and originally they infected insects, mainly ants, and they infect the ant's brain, and the ant will crawl up to a point, and it will like latch onto a tree branch or a twig, and then the cordyceps will grow out of its brain, and then it'll release all the spores and will infect more. And then it somehow got mutated to infect humans, and there's multiple different stages of the cordyceps.
Oh, this is the one with the zombies that can only hear. Is that it?
Yes. Yeah. They start out as runners, I think.
Okay.
Where it's basically, imagine like World War Z zombies, where they see you and they just sprint at you. And then it goes to brawlers, something. I don't know. It goes to a different stage where they aren't that much different, but they aren't always sprinting around. And after that, it turns into clickers, where the they make little noises. And the reason they're called clickers is because they can't see, because the spores, the cordyceps, have started growing a bunch of fungus on their face, and everything's mutating, and they're getting like shielded. And at this point, they progressively get stronger and stronger. But at the clicker stage, they no longer have sight, so they've developed the echolocation. And after that, it's bloaters. You have to be infected for like 10 years, and you just like keep growing and growing more and more stuff on your body, and it acts as armor and shield and everything, and they're like little mini bosses throughout the game.
Okay.
There isn't any actually like official bosses with like health meters and stuff like that, but basically bloaters are the bosses. Whenever you get like trapped in a room and zombies start coming in, that's like a little boss fight. And after that, there was, at the start of the game, there's a little paper that said, like, listed the different types of them. And on the 5th slot, it just had a bunch of question marks. Like, it listed them like I did, but it had a bunch of question marks. I was like, ooh, this is cool. I wonder what that is. And after I played through it, I wonder if I like missed a spot where there's like a secret zombie that was secretly developed or anything like that. And I didn't. The first Last of Us is just those 4. So but the second Last of Us, in the advertisement, I don't know what these ones are called, but they're like environmentally based. And Ellie, throughout the game, she goes through Washington for certain things, and these zombies only develop in Washington.
Okay.
And they've got like they've just got big growths on them that release spores. They just like shoot out spores.
Ugh.
And in the game, everybody always had to like put on masks because if you inhale the spores,
You get infected.
you get infected. If a zombie bites you, the spores get in through that way.
Mm-hmm.
And through this one, it releases the spores and it like runs at you and it will like explode onto you. And that's the 5th type. And I think they only develop because it's like moist environment, a lot of rain in Washington or something like that. But you said Ellie was getting experimented on. No, the whole premise of the game.
I'm thinking of the other game, where it's a dude and then a young girl, and she has like mind powers as well, and she can like get into like a dark realm. I just can't remember the name of it. It was a really famous game, got a lot of awards, but I can't really think of the name of it. They based the character like completely face for face off of the an actress, the girl in Juno. Can't remember her name.
I think you're mixing up the two because Ellie, when they first released the art of what Ellie looked like, she looked almost identical to a certain actress.
Okay.
And then she complained, and that actress wasn't even the voice actor for Ellie.
Yeah.
And so she complained, everybody complained, and then when the game was released, they changed her up, but she still pretty much looked like her, just like a younger version that isn't as developed.
Okay.
And the whole premise of the game is Ellie was bitten by a zombie, but then the cordyceps in her brain, they mutated, and so she's now immune.
Okay.
And you have to deliver Ellie to the Fireflies. The Fireflies are like a renegade anti-government. There's 2 types of factions in the game. Well, 3 if you want to just count like outcasts or outlaws or something. But the government has formed little settlements and everything, and everybody has like food cards and stuff like that. And the government keeps everything in check. And there's also the Fireflies, which is the resistance. Their little motto is like, look for the light when you're in the dark, something like that. And Joel has to deliver her to the Fireflies so they can figure out how to make a cure. And that's the entire premise. Like, she doesn't get experimented on a bunch or anything like that. It's just you're taking her to a place to eventually like get tested on and stuff like that. I'm not going to say any more because then it's going to get into spoilers.
Yeah, I can't remember the one I'm thinking of. I can't remember it.
Dark Realm. Like, she turns into the... Yeah. I'll talk to myself in this microphone. By the way, I like your Pew News mug.
My mug.
That's awesome. Is that like an off-brand, or did you buy that straight from his website or something?
From his website, yeah.
Heck yeah. Support PewDiePie.
Yeah, I bought 2. I got 1, and then I bought 1 for my best friend as well.
I really appreciate PewDiePie because his channel started off as like when YouTube wasn't that big, and he just stuck with it. He's been getting bigger, and he's always changing, and like he makes mistakes, he learns from them, but he's no sheep. He really isn't. He's no sheep. He's got like viewpoints on both sides of like the spectrum, the political spectrum on the USA, of like the right and left. People on the right think this, people on the left think this. But PewDiePie, he's very independent, and he's got a lot of like left-leaning views, but he doesn't have any of those quote libtard like opinions.
Yeah,
where it's like he debunked the women's pay gap. He debunked it just like with facts. He's just an independent thinker that actually considers facts before making opinions. And he just
Poppy Gloria,
Poppy Shmoria, Gloria Borger. With my friend, I text her. I do this with maybe a couple people, but mainly just her. It's I say like Ooga, she responds with Booga. I say Gloria, she responds with Borger.
Oh my god,
it's fun. It's fun. Have you figured it out? What's the name?
I have not, and I'm a little sad.
I think that's an S9.
I believe so, because the button is still on the back. The finger scanner.
Yeah, my phone has the 3. Oh my gosh, David Hasselhoff scared the crap out of me. Dang. I looked up to point at the camera, and I saw David Hasselhoff with his hand up. I thought he was going to like throw something at me. That's scary, man. Why do you have 2 cardboard cutouts?
Because
That's
why
freaky.
not?
Did you get the inspiration from PewDiePie when he had
Actually, no.
who did he have?
Oh man. He had quite a bit. He had one of Ken, and then he had one of Danny DeVito.
Yeah,
and
he had a
then
Danny
one
DeVito. That
of
was
that
funny.
chef dude that's really feminine. I can't remember his name, but he's like British black guy.
And he's got the yeah, that laugh when he's wearing the chef hat. I don't remember his name.
But that dude, yeah. I can't think of it. I'll think of it in like 10 hours and I'll be like, Noah, I remember the game.
Yeah, comment it on the video.
I'll put it as the first one. There's a lot of like really great high-end awesome games that have come out, and I'm just like
really thought-provoking.
Yeah.
Very fun.
Well, not even those, but just they've got like 20 stars on everything. I guess that's not a good one. It's usually like 5 stars, 10 stars, whatever. And I'm just like, I don't have time for this. I'll just have to choose one. I guess I'll play this one.
That's true, yeah. As a kid, when my responsibilities were just like school, homework, and then I always did found a way to make some money. I've been a gamer my whole life, and I always found a way to make some money, like mainly yard work. That was usually the number one way to make money as a kid. Yard work, moving boxes, a little bit of babysitting, but I never really liked babysitting because
babies suck.
Majority of the time, yeah. And every once in a while you get the good kid and you're like hanging out with the good kid. It's actually really fun. It's nice. But majority of the time,
it's not nice.
The baby's a little jerk and you can't punish the baby or the toddler or the child or the teenager, whatever, because they're not your kid.
Other people's kids.
They can't beat the crap out of their kid, and you can't do any of that. So then you just have like no authority of the kid, and they're basically the boss because they can just get away with anything. I don't like that situation. So I always
have to like stop them from hurting themselves, and other than that, there's not a lot you can do.
Feed them, stop them from hurting themselves, and then you're basically just screwed over the rest of the time. And I didn't like that situation. So it was always yard work for me. And I got yard work, like bought video games. And during that time, I'd always like try to play a bunch of games. And now, because of work and the podcast, and I'm writing some stand-up comedy I want to try, and all this stuff, I really don't have much time for video games. So all my time for video games is like only spent for really good story games like Uncharted, Last of Us, maybe Borderlands, a Zelda game, like really big games that are just very, very fun and in-depth, and party games.
I was actually having a conversation about this type of stuff with my mentor a few weeks ago, because I was talking to him. I was like, I don't understand why people are so into these. Like
what does he mentor you in?
He's just like I call him my mentor. He's really just a good friend. Older guy. He works in the gaming industry.
Okay.
He's really knowledgeable. And I was talking to him. I was like, I don't understand why people like Fortnite or why they like these big what are they called? Battle royales.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like, to me, it doesn't make sense in my brain.
Have you played Tetris 99?
I tried it.
It's so hard. The best position I've got is second place.
I was telling him, I was like, in my brain, it just doesn't make sense. I don't have fun. Like, I might have fun, but it's not fun overall because you win maybe one every like 20 games. And to me, I'm like, that just seems like such a waste of time.
Just I
can play like a regular old game and win half the time and still have, to me, the same amount of fun. And he was telling me, he was like, we're getting into this new age of gamers where these people who grew up completely playing games, we're like the first generation, I would say, that like we started playing games when we were, I don't know, 8, probably.
Yeah,
8 around there.
What first got me into game was obviously as a little kid, I like played games for like a N64, things like that. But mainly it was my dad. He and I played DDO, Dungeons and Dragons Online. It's like a World of Warcraft knockoff for free.
Yeah.
It's a really good game. I was always just the barbarian, and he was the archer. I was just his meat shield that ran around with a big sword.
Yeah.
And from there, I got into more video games and so on and so forth. It was really fun. Those were good times with my dad. We also played Wizards 101.
I still get emails from them to this day.
Really? Just block them. Just block them.
No, I don't mind it because I'm like, oh, I remember that. That was like
It reminds you of the
12
good times.
years ago.
Wizards 101 is great. And yeah, when he got me into that was when I first moved to his house. First moved to foster care at 5 years old. Yeah.
Wow, that was a long time ago.
He's always been a great dad. He's always like looked into things he can do with me
Mm-hmm.
to like bond and stuff like that. Quite often as a kid, I never really wanted to say no because I was like insecure little foster child.
Yeah.
And whenever I said no to my biological parents, it ended poorly. So I never really wanted to say no. So quite often it was things we were doing that he didn't really enjoy and I didn't really enjoy, but he did it because he thought I enjoyed it. And I said I enjoyed it because I thought he enjoyed it. And then eventually when I like became self-confident, I was like, yeah, I never enjoyed those things. And I don't enjoy doing this. And he's like, I don't enjoy doing this thing either. And so we both
and then you
would
bond over that. You're
yeah,
like,
we
oh.
finally just ditched it and from there. But yeah, from like the first thing he really bonded with me over was like T-ball and Dungeons and Dragons Online. Good dad, very good dad.
It's good.
Very thankful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I was talking to him. I was telling him I don't understand. It doesn't make sense in my brain. And he was just saying we're this first generation that's coming up.
Yeah.
And now all of you guys have money, but you don't have time. So people want to play these quick games where they can spend a little bit of money and just like look cooler.
Mm-hmm.
And the games can be like 5 minutes because they don't have time.
Fortnite games are long. It's like 20 to 30 minutes per match if you're going for first place.
But I'd say a lot of people, probably 10 minutes and then they're dead.
Yeah.
And that's the same with phone games as well. It was just like, it's these quick things. Like you get in, you do the thing, you get out, phone game's done. Doesn't take long. Because I was looking up the statistics and currently half of the money in all of the gaming industry is from phone games.
Yeah, phone games are huge. Like Candy Crush. When I got my new phone, a bunch of games were pre-installed. The first one being Candy Crush.
That's weird.
And I deleted all of them. The only game I have on my phone is Charades, which is like a...
Is that the one you put on your head?
Yeah, the one you put on your head up and down just to play with friends if we're like waiting for food at a restaurant or something.
That's fair. I have a few. I have Hearthstone.
Hearthstone.
As you know.
Great game. Yeah, he has a bathrobe that says Hearthstone on the back.
And then Pokemon Go. And that's probably the only games I actually play on my phone.
Can you fight? I know Pokemon Go, you collect all the Pokemon, but can you fight other people's Pokemon and then...
Yeah, if you're friends with somebody, you can challenge them if you're like by them. I don't think you can challenge when you're like across the country or anything. And then you can also do gyms, which is just like you hold it for a little bit and then somebody else takes it over and you get in-game currency for holding a gym for a while.
Does somebody take it over by beating your Pokemon?
Yep.
Okay.
And so there's 3 main teams, yellow, blue, red. And so I'm yellow. If I go up to a gym and the gym is already yellow, I can just add my Pokemon to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And then whoever comes up from a different team has to beat both of our Pokemon to take it over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you can have up to 6.
All right.
Which I think is like a regular gym.
Is the yellow mascot that like lightning bird?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen these stickers on like the backs of people's cars. These are really intense.
Team Instinct.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first day, I think it was the first day it released or like the first weekend, I was down in Bellevue Square where there's that giant like circular grass area. And it was just a group of like 19-year-old people just running around yelling names of Pokemon. They'd be like, Onyx! And this whole group would just sprint across Bellevue Square. And I'm just sitting there watching this happen like, oh, okay. I'm just gonna
What's
sit
the
here.
what's the little fish? Is that Magikarp?
There's Gouldine, which is like flying, and then Magikarp's on the ground.
The little fish that flops around?
Yep.
I if you get enough of those, can you evolve them or something like that?
So,
Because I know there was like a big speculation where Pokemon Go said you can get a Pokemon, but pretty much nobody had it, and it was like the evolution of a Magikarp or something like that.
So Magikarp is really hard to do just because the way that Pokemon Go works is it's all what's called candy based.
Mm.
Whenever you catch a Pokemon, you get one of their candies. I think it's one.
Okay.
And then you can pretty much sell that Pokemon for another one.
Mm.
And generally you need about 25 of those candies to evolve that type of Pokemon. So let's say you catch 13 and you throw away 12, then you have enough. With Magikarp, you have to have 400 candies. So
Okay.
I am like at
400
395. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty close to it. But I'd say they're pretty common. I've seen a lot of the evolution is called Gyarados. It's a giant dragon.
Okay.
It becomes Magikarp is useless.
Is it the blue one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or red if it's shiny.
It's shiny. What's that?
It's just the exact same thing. It's just a little bit rarer. It's just like you can be like, oh, I caught this one, and it looks cooler.
Does it do
There's
better
no
attack
advantage
or anything?
No.
Okay.
That's pretty much Pokemon for you.
Just Fortnite. Pay to look professional skins. I have never once in my life spent money on a free game.
I have.
I've never done it ever.
I have. I've done it for. I play a game called Heroes of the Storm. I probably played about, I want to say, at least 500 hours, and I was like, you know what, I can spend $10. But it's a game that's slowly going away. It's made by Blizzard.
Mm.
So they've kind of semi-announced being like, we're slowing down on production for you guys because we have Overwatch, which is making us more money, and we're working on Overwatch 2.
That's true. I saw the ad for that.
Diablo 4 as well. So they were just like, you guys are a free game. Hearthstone is probably making more money for them. So they're like,
It's a phone game too, right? You said 50% of the money coming in from phone games. I know you can buy like card packs, right?
Yeah, so they do microtransactions like that where you can buy like an amount of card packs, or they do you buy like a story where you just unlock a whole story mode.
Yep.
But on this one, I was like, I spent 500 hours. They're slowing down on production. I want to support them type thing. So, I mean, overall, I've probably spent about $50, and I've probably played at least 3,000 hours. Yeah. I mean, I've been playing this game for like 5 years. I've been playing it since.
What's the premise of the game?
It's a MOBA, so it's kind of like League of Legends.
Okay.
Top down, you kill their base, they try to kill your base.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. MOBAs have their own like just genre of just like, if you play one MOBA, you can pretty much understand most MOBAs, at least understand what's going on.
Yeah.
The thing I like about this one is it's not super competitive, because I used to play a really competitive one, which was Dota.
Dota 2, yep.
That was just too much after a while.
Have you seen the AI that beat like the best characters in the world, the best players?
I'm pretty sure I was at the tournament when they were showing that off. It was Tesla made this or used their OpenAI to memorize and figure out what the very, very best strategy for a single hero was.
Mm-hmm.
And they just had it play and play and play and figure out what's better and better and better.
Yep.
Until it was literally better than any of the pro players that were there. And it was so good that it was like faking out the enemy, like pretty much taunting them, being like, I'm about to use an ability, and then just not do it. It was insane. And it was also scary, because it's like, this is a very,
that means
very...
they probably ran it against humans too.
Yeah.
Because if they just ran it against bots, the bots would know they're not going to actually use this move. But they must have ran it against a bunch of bots, so it's like it can comprehend like how to play the game, and then ran it against a bunch of humans, and then they showed it off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know how many hours they like had it run, but it was insane how like precise everything was. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a computer, but still, like, this is a very, very complicated game with a lot of strategies and a lot of things that could go wrong and a lot of things that could go right.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they were able to even just do that one hero was like, all right. So that's a little scary.
Elon Musk is a great man.
Yes.
Very intelligent. If you like look at older videos of him, he has some sort of speech impediment. I know he like still does, but he's definitely improved. Like he's not stuttering and
yeah, I think he's just more confident.
yeah, he's more confident, better talking with people. He's got Elon, you did a Joe Rogan podcast. You want to do my podcast, hit me up on Instagram. Yeah, that's exactly, that was funny. I'll come to you. I will come to you, Elon.
Have you watched any of the new season of Rick and Morty?
Yeah. I think the new episode comes out the 15th.
Okay.
Which is really annoying because they're supposed to come out Sundays, and like 3 Sundays now they haven't released anything.
You saw the Elon Tusk?
Elon
episode?
Tusk. Yeah. He was like, I'm basically just your Elon, but with Tusk. Shut up, Elon Tusk. Save Elon Musk for us.
But yeah, that was actually Elon Musk that voiced it.
Yeah, Elon Musk has
like,
done a lot
oh,
of
God.
cameos. He did a Simpsons or Family Guy cameo. I think it was a Family Guy cameo.
I think he was in one of the Iron Man movies too, for like a short period because he's just like a rich dude.
Yeah,
So he
yeah,
was
he
just
was.
like with a bunch of rich dudes, and he's like, "I'm Elon Musk."
I think it was the second one. Was the second one the guy with the whips?
I think that was third. I think. No, wait. Third one was the one where he's in like the sand, like in like the Middle East. So yeah, I think the second one was the whip dude.
What? What do you mean?
The third one?
Yeah.
Middle East?
Oh, that was the one with the Mandarin?
Yes.
Right? I didn't
so.
like that one.
It's the one where he like builds a suit out of scrap.
No, that was the first one.
Really?
When he was in the Middle East and...
Oh, maybe that is the first one.
Yeah, the first one he is testing the Jericho missile, I think it's called, where the missile shoots up and then it shoots out a bunch of little missiles and it hits the side of the mountain.
And then he's just like...
And yeah, and that was the first one.
Okay.
You're mixing those up a lot, David.
I'm
Did you
brain
take a
dead
little
today.
like Elon?
That's probably the first one.
Yeah, the first movie.
I have a question for you.
What's up?
Which movie do you think was better?
Of the Elon.
Which movie did you think was better? Infinity War or Endgame?
I thought Endgame was better.
Okay.
Because I really enjoy when movies completely recognize that they have a lot to tell, so they take a longer time.
Mm-hmm.
Endgame was 3 hours. I really enjoyed that. I like
Infinity War was long too. It was like 2.5 or 2:45, something like that.
big movie. Yep. But Endgame made me cry. I'm not a guy that cries much. I really don't. I think if I were to predict, the next time I'm probably going to cry is when my dog dies.
Okay.
Because I love my dog that much. She's been there since I moved to foster care, been my best friend since. I love my dog. Infinity War managed to make me cry. And it was a great movie.
Endgame.
Endgame, that's right. Endgame managed to make me cry. Great movie. Very, so many characters, though. I wish they didn't. I get it's like a big cameo of everything and they're all fighting Thanos' entire army. But I do wish they had less characters so they could go in a little more depth. Because majority of the movie, it was like, they're doing something here, and then it switched over to more people. They're doing something here, switched over, they're doing something here, and that just kept going.
I liked it.
Infinity War definitely did that, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And Endgame did that less so, because like they cut off half the characters.
Yeah.
And it was good. Very good.
I liked Endgame more. It is probably my second favorite movie.
Ever?
It was so good.
Really?
Yeah. it was a really good movie. And like, granted, you have to have all this stuff to back it
You've
up.
got to see the entire background.
But
Yeah.
like, I mean, I watched them as they came out.
Did you like
it's just-
Captain Marvel?
It's all right.
This is my thoughts on that. I like Captain Marvel. I don't like Brie Larson Captain Marvel.
I liked the movie. It was all right. I really
I thought
liked
the movie was all right.
The comedy was pretty good.
That's true. That's definitely true. They've definitely been getting better and better with the comedy in the Marvel movies, and I love that. Like Marvel one-liners. There's
Mhm.
plenty of YouTube clips that make an amalgamation, a hodgepodge of all the Marvel one-liners. It's what was I saying? What was I saying before I said that? That's right. Brie Larson. I don't like her as a person, and even if I didn't not like her as a person, she still makes Captain Marvel seem like snooty and rude. I did not like that at all, because Captain Marvel in the comics is a badass.
Yeah.
She's awesome. She could beat up Thanos on her own.
She did. I'm pretty sure.
In the movie, she went one-on-one.
No, I mean in the comic, I think
exactly.
she did beat Thanos by herself.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the movie, she's just like,
I'm all for Captain Marvel. Not Brie Larson as Captain Marvel, though. I didn't think she did a good job. They could have done much better with a different actress that like was more, quote, badass, less snooty. Just like a Captain America type vibe, like patriotic, nice to everybody.
Yep.
That would have been a far better vibe to give off as Captain Marvel, someone who's that powerful. Because even in Endgame, she was useless.
Yeah, she just showed up and she's like, "Oh, sorry, I had more important things to do." Like, we're about to like lose the universe. What do you mean? There's more important things to do?
There's other planets suffering besides it. Well, this one has Thanos on it, so come help us out here.
Like, we get it. You got stuff to do, but like, this is pretty important. All right.
Mm-hmm.
How would you feel? I had this movie idea that I wish that Marvel would do it. Just a whole movie of, Nick Fury gets captured and is in like an interrogation room, and they're just asking him about his past projects, and he just
That'd be good.
talks about like all of the stuff that he's been through and done, and maybe like behind the scenes stuff that he was doing. Like how he got into Steve Rogers' apartment.
Yeah.
And when he just shows up, like how he did
Captain
that,
America,
and just like how he just like maybe falls down or something stupid like that. But the whole time he's just like slowly escaping from this place, but they don't realize it. He's like sending messages or something like that. I think that'd be a really good movie.
That would be a cool movie. I totally agree. Because Nick Fury, first of all, they've got Samuel L. Jackson playing as Nick Fury.
And they haven't really
Great
done much
actor.
with it.
Yeah, they haven't really done much with him. He could do so much more. Samuel L. Jackson is a great actor. Him as Nick Fury, great combo. Great guy. Like the original Nick Fury was white, and some people complain, I don't give a damn as long as it's a good actor.
That's fair.
Like, yeah, Samuel L. Jackson is a great actor. And they could definitely do a good movie of like his background, because they wouldn't even have to stick to the comics. They could just make crap up.
Yep.
Like where aliens came to Earth and Samuel L. Jackson was there. Like I think that was part of the premise of Captain Marvel, right?
Yeah.
The shape-shifting aliens came to Earth.
He was in it, and he was
in it.
He was a pretty main part.
Yeah, he was in it more than previous movies.
He didn't know what was going on.
True.
He was not Nick Fury. He was just kind of like a dude that was like a cop.
Yeah,
like,
he was. Yeah, S.H.I.E.L.D. wasn't even started then, I think.
No, or it was just starting.
Yeah.
Or now
do you know what S.H.I.E.L.D. stands for? Do you remember?
Nah, I never watched the show, so I can't remember.
No, they talked about it in Iron Man. It was the one where Black Widow was first introduced. I think the second Iron Man, maybe even third. Again, there's 4 of them, and I only liked the first one, so they all just get mixed up. But it's like something Homeland, Intelligence, Espionage, Life Defense. I don't know.
That sounds right. Sounds pretty
That's
close.
very wrong. That's very wrong. Just like espionage might be in there. I remember there's a book series called Nerds, and I read it in end of elementary school, and it was Nerds, and it's an acronym, and it stands for National Espionage Rescue and Defense Society. And I still remember that. I hate how that's still stuck in my head.
The one always sticks with me is the word scuba is a acronym. It's not technically a word.
Really?
Yeah, it stands for self-contained underwater breathing apparatus.
That's right. Now that you say that, I think I was watching like a Smart Everyday video or something like that, and they just listed off one of those facts. I don't know if it was Smart Everyday, but it was some sort of YouTube channel where they were like doing something, and that was mentioned. I love those channels where they make learning fun. Right. I hated school.
Same.
So much. I love learning. I love it. Absolutely love it. Love watching videos, love experimenting, love doing things, love making things. And school just made learning it so boring. And it was all about memorization. Like, memorize these things and then fill in the bubble and you pass. And wow, you're intelligent. No, you're not. That doesn't make you intelligent. That makes it so you can temporarily memorize something and then pass the paper to the teacher and you're done. I've always been really good at solving problems. Like, I'm not good at just memorizing facts, memorizing things. That's why I'm bad at geography and history. Just terrible at them. I suck. But I was great at chemistry and math and robotics and things like that, like where I could actually solve problems and come up with my own solutions, found roundabout ways, etc. That's what I've always enjoyed.
The thing I always found funny is American education system's always like, we're always trying to push people to be problem solvers, but then like it doesn't seem like that. All the testing is not problem solving. It's just like you said, it's just memorization.
I don't like it at all.
And it's like
back to Elon Musk. He made I don't know if he made the school or just like funded this little school or something. I think his kids and some other kids are in it, but I might be getting this wrong, but he was looking into a bunch of teachers and he was talking to a teacher, and I don't know if it was a girl or a guy, they had like the same viewpoints as him, whereas like people don't learn just by this process that public schools are doing for us. They learn through, like, I think his example was school tries to teach you, like, if you need to wrench in this bolt, they teach you about the wrench. They teach you all about the wrench, everything they can about the wrench, and they have you show you can wrench in the bolt, and then you're done. And it wastes so much time, and it's so boring and monotonous, and nobody likes it. But if you just give a wrench and point to the bolt,
let them figure it out,
they'll do it themselves, and then it sticks in their brain better, and they learned it faster. And Elon Musk said his kids enjoy school. They love school. Like, they'll be out on vacation and they'll be excited to get back so they can go to school. And I want to become financially free. Not because I want all these lavish lifestyles. I want it so I don't have to worry about money, and my family doesn't have to worry about money. And we're good from there. Because my biggest aspiration is to be a great father, great husband. Like, I'm a helpless romantic, and that's definitely my biggest aspiration. So I want to become financially free for them, so we don't have to worry about like medical bills or anything like that. And especially so my kids don't have to go to public school. I'm not just going to like stick them in private school where they make them learn like 4 languages at once at the age of 7. That's not what I'm going to do, because that's not any fun either. You don't learn. Well, you do learn, but just I want to either like put them in Elon Musk's school if I'm like there, if we live in that area, or like branch out to him. Again, Elon Musk, hit me up, please. Like, branch out to him and have him start the school where I am, or just like model it after his, something like that. Because I really do not want to put my kids through like crappy public school, and I also don't want to homeschool them. Because that's
not fun either.
Again, you can learn a lot from homeschooling, but then the social aspect, you just get screwed over. I have friends that were homeschooled until middle school, and we were church friends, and the two of them were homeschooled until middle school, and it definitely showed.
Yeah.
At the time of middle school, that's when you like start becoming
detached.
your
own self.
Like yeah, exactly. Your own person, detached from your parents and everything like that. And I could really tell that they did not have the same social abilities.
You can usually tell pretty quick. You're like,
luckily though,
something's off.
At middle school, they went to a public school and high school, and now they're both in college, and they've definitely improved. They're still a little bit awkward, but they've definitely improved. But you can definitely tell in kids. They've got to be around a lot of different people and see the social cues and this, that, the other thing. You
got to be embarrassed to learn every once in a while.
Exactly. I am fully for bullying. I just took a left turn there. Let me explain. I'm not for like a bunch of kids jumping somebody else because he doesn't have good looking jeans and like kicking him while he's down. That's not what I'm for.
Oh,
I am for, however, if I were to be putting on pounds of fat,
I see what you mean.
My friend would fat shame me. I'm all for that. Like, do it, dude. Fat shaming can definitely be a good thing. You can also be bullied into
a little bit.
It's like a positive peer pressure.
Yeah.
Like, I bullied my friend Nathaniel into being like less of a soy boy. You could say quote taught him. He actually said he learned a lot about like not being a soy boy from me, because I used to be just a little beta male and wouldn't stick up for myself, all that stuff, and eventually I just got so tired of it.
Yeah.
I hated it. Like, if I was speaking and somebody would talk, I'd immediately cut off and things like that, and I just hated how people would talk over me, and I didn't stand up tall. I'm still skinny. I'm still a skinny guy, but I'm going to jiu-jitsu and I'm lifting weights and I'm taking a lot of protein, and I've been progressively self-improving out of that. And I'm all for like there's a phrase, I'm not quoting it right because again that's just pure memorization, but it's something like hard times make hard men. And bullying can definitely be positive, because as a little kid I was bullied, and like around 5th grade I turned into a bully because I didn't want to be bullied anymore. And then 6th grade I was immediately like, I don't want to be a bully, screw that. And so I was against bullying in that sense, just like the negative bullying. But then when I eventually grew up more and I went through my self-development phase, I was like, it actually did pretty good for me, because it made me against people just being jerks. Or like, I could have just been a total jerk just to be a jerk. Like, I came from, I'm not trying to pull out my underprivileged card or whatever, but I came from a pretty messed up background.
Yeah.
And all of that, it could have either broken me or made me stronger. And in some ways, sink or swim, exactly. Fight or flight, etc. And I'd say it definitely made me stronger. Because people often pull out like the underprivileged card with like, I can't do that because of this. I'm adopted. I think I've mentioned that in all 3 podcasts by now. Like, I am adopted. And when you come from a terrible background where like I had cigarettes put out on me, my biological mother almost like burned me and my siblings alive because she like poured gasoline all over us and almost burned us alive. I was always around meth labs. I was like beaten, like terrible, terrible, terrible things. I have low enamel on my teeth because I was always around meth labs as a kid, and I was malnourished because we didn't really get fed. And a lot of terrible things happened to my siblings too. I've got 2 half-brothers and a half-sister, and I'm not going to say because that's their business, but coming from that, when I first went to foster care, I was clearly broken.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is because the way my parents raised me. They raised me to like, if I told you that messed up joke I said, right?
You've told me a lot of messed up
jokes.
I
have. Yes, I have. I've got a sick and twisted humor. You can't grow up with my background and come out with normal humor. That's because You can't let what people say affect you negatively, like truly have bearing on what you think. Don't care what people think about you. There's another phrase, again, not quoting it properly, but it's like, as a kid, you're worried about what people think about you, and then as an adult, you stop caring what people think about you, and when you're old, you realize they were never thinking about you in the first place. Everybody's always thinking about themselves and thinking about what other people think of them.
Yeah.
Just stop caring. Seriously. If somebody says something mean to me, oh well. Even if it's something like that really hits deep, like my weak chin. Look at this. Look at this camera. That's the best I can do with my chin. It's a pretty weak chin. I know it is. I'm not some David Hasselhoff with that man chin.
No Chad.
Yeah, I'm not some Chad or oh my gosh. Drew at work. Have you seen his Facebook profile picture? The dude has a clef and like a jaw that like pokes out, and Drew, you were gifted with great genetics, man. Oh my gosh. And like, yes, I'm fairly insecure about that, but just don't let it bother you. Don't care. Like, I make jokes about the chin, like I can make like an H3H3 Ethan double chin with my fupa. And I'm skinny. I've got this tooth gap, which is actually kind of useful. I can squirt water out of it like a squirt gun. It's I didn't discover that until middle school, and
then you were probably doing it all the time.
Yeah, I've got a really long neck, and there's just all these things that people think are like flaws, and I don't like this about myself. And even if other people don't like that about me, because there's things I don't like about other people, I just don't let it bother me. Oh well,
yeah,
I accept it.
Just live life.
Like if you're fat and somebody says you're fat,
why are you looking at my stomach when you say that?
No, I'm looking at Peach right now. Yeah, Peach is clearly obese. Look at that thin waistline. But if you're fat and somebody says you're fat, or like, if they mention it in like a rude way, you can just ignore them, or be like, all right, you're clearly a dick. I don't want to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
But if they do just mention like,
hey man, you've gained some weight.
Yeah, if it somehow comes up in conversation where it's not negative, they just simply mention it.
Mm-hmm.
Quite often there's people that like deny they're fat, or deny they're skinny, or deny they're short, or deny they're really tall and lanky, or have a weak chin or a long neck or whatever. I know all these traits about me. We've all analyzed our body and we know what insecurities we have. Mm-hmm. Just don't let it bother you.
Yeah.
It's like I think I said this to Caitlin at work. Caitlin? Yeah, Caitlin. And I said this, and she's like, yeah, I'm kind of pudgy or a little heavier set. I know it. And I asked, do you let it bother you? Do I say that's a bad thing? Do you say it's a bad thing? No. You just accept that's what you are. Mm. And if you do truly not like something about yourself, there is ways to change it. Like I said, I'm skinny. I'm working out. Eventually, I'm going to get Invisalign that'll fix my teeth and hopefully help fix the underbite. So it'll give me
you could just like eat lard.
A little extra. Oh, eat a lot of lard. Yeah. So there's literally no chin at all. Yeah. And now people just can't even make fun of it.
Yeah, exactly. But going back to what you were saying earlier, one of the biggest problems I think right now is we're losing that whole like community positive peer pressure type thing.
Yes.
Where like people are doing things that are either stupid or just ridiculous, and if you like try to be like, hey, that's not okay, there's a lot of people who are just like, you can't tell them how to live their life, and it's like cool, but they're like having sex with their dog, so something like that, you know what I mean?
It's why'd like, you go that far?
Oh
my gosh,
that's like the next
you could have
step.
said something so simple like, oh, they're eating too much, or oh, they're slouching in their chair.
Because that's how ridiculous it's getting. It's like
bestiality.
They're doing something David. Like either harmful to themselves or just ridiculous, and it's just like if you try to talk about it, it's just God, privileged white dude. How dare you?
Oh my gosh!
Let me have sex with my dog. I'll try to think of a milder example.
Yes.
Sorry. Like the whole
Just grace past it. Don't even.
Adderall thing.
Oh, now you're going to
We're
drugs.
going to Adderall. It's like, I feel like so many people use it when they're just like in school, and it's like, it's just become okay because like they need it, or like they feel like they need it. And if you try to be like, this is bad, they're like, I'm sorry that I'm not like you. I can't be smart. And it's like, people learn differently. Like you were saying earlier, people learn differently. You don't need drugs to do this, but it's just such a common thing now.
Yeah, there's the overprescription of everything, and people like the term like snowflake. They don't really face their problems. They just want something to solve their problems.
Mm-hmm. And they don't want you to point them out.
Yeah, like I said, I was an insecure little antisocial soy boy as a kid. Like I'd say up until high school, like 8th grade, I was feeling better about myself, getting better. I was in wrestling and I had passions and things like that. But if I just let the whole world tell me I'm a victim and there's nothing I can do about it, I would not be doing good with my life. I'd be so depressed, and I get down. Everybody gets down. There is people with legitimate chemical imbalances.
Yeah.
And that's when it's like, when you actually get a doctor that actually does the test and like, you actually do have chemical imbalances. Let me give you this. So it kind of balances it out and sets us on the same playing field. That's a good thing. Mm-hmm. But when you get people that just are down in the dumps because of what's in their brain, and you give them chemical solutions for that, that doesn't solve anything. That just masks it. It just makes everything all foggy and all that crap.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm getting really depressed, I told my friend, I was texting her yesterday. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go wallow in my pity. And I texted her bye. I think I did a peace sign as well. And then later on when I got back, I was joking. I don't wallow. I get up, put on some good music, and I was feeling pretty down in the dumps. Yeah. Like this past couple weeks, some stuff has gone down. But I was feeling pretty down in the dumps. And I just got up, put on some good music, and oftentimes I force a smile. It's clearly a fake smile. It
apparently works, is what I've heard.
Yeah, there was an experiment where
literally does it.
They put a piece of wood in somebody's mouth to, I think Vsauce actually did this on one of his Minefield episodes. And he had dogs. He had people had to like herd little puppies. Everybody freaking likes puppies. Mm-hmm. But people had to herd little puppies. One of them had to do it with a stick in their mouth. The other people had to somehow hold a frown or like keep a straight face, something like that. And he had them do this, and the people afterwards who were holding a stick in their mouth that were forced to smile, they were talking about like, oh, it was so much fun. The dogs were so playful and nice, but really the dogs were just running around, and it was hard to get them all lined up so they could take a photo. They said like, the dogs were so playful and nice. I love puppies.
The other ones are like, this was the worst.
And the other one, exactly. The other ones, because they had that frown, they had that negative, somber tone, that negative outlook on the world. They were complaining. They wouldn't line up. They were so annoying. They were barking. Terriers. One of them peed on the floor. They were just talking about that, and it's like a fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Really, it's fake it till you become it. And I don't listen to any negative music. There's a few songs, like a few Eminem songs, or like this ship will carry our bodies safe to shore. What? Yeah, that song. Like there's a few of them that kind of have a sad tone, but they're such good songs you just can't ignore it.
Yeah.
And I put on some positive music. I stand up. I get physical. Maybe I do like some jumping jacks. Getting physical. Just getting physical. Just getting physical. Sorry, just
that type of podcast.
Yes. The last podcast, Justice and I were listening to a bunch of music, and he said you could pay people to come on. I mean, people would pay you to come on this podcast and like show their music. And I was like, is that what my podcast is going to become?
Is that what I want it to be?
Just sitting here listening to music with dudes. Like, I like this. Like, I'm here at your house. I'm set on a stool. My interface is set up on a stool. We're sitting in chairs. What was I saying before this?
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, fake it till you make it, fake it till you become it. And I force a smile. I stand up. I dance. I go do something. Like, I was laying on my bed, and my parents were home. My mom, I think she was working on some graphics. She's a graphic designer.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad was in the garage making some bee like racks he can put into his hives.
Yep.
And I just got up. I made sure I had all my things. I was dancing. I wasn't in a good mood, but I was forcing myself to dance and have fun, keeping the smile the whole time. And I walked around. I made sure I had all my stuff done,
Mm-hmm.
listening to the positive music. I asked my mom, could I do anything? She said no. I asked my dad if he needed help. He said, I'm almost done, but you can help me clean up. And by the time I was done with everything, I felt better.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had just laid
Sat
there
there.
and popped a antidepressant pill and just laid there and, oh, I hate this, I never feel good, then I would just be down in the dumps all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need that in my life. None of it. We should all. There's negative peer pressure. There's positive peer pressure. People pressure you into doing negative things. Obviously negative. People pressure you into doing positive things like feeling better,
Mm-hmm.
working out, achieving those goals, getting to work on time, et cetera, et cetera. That's positive peer pressure. And you can almost peer pressure yourself in a positive way to do something.
Yeah.
And like you said, we're just we're forced to like stay out of other people's lives and like not give people any corrections or anything like that. And it's not a good thing.
No.
Like you said, a sense of community, like patriotism, that's going out the door.
Yep. There's a reason why we've had it for so long, because it works.
Yes. We all like our country. When we like our country, we like the people that are in the country. And now that like patriotism is out the door, the left and right are even more divided than ever. And like people who don't have people who have like opinions on both sides and everything like that, the left and the right alike just rejects them because you're not all for us.
Yep.
And it's just really annoying. We're just like, I feel like Joe Rogan right now because he's always talking about like the solution is love. Just get on some DMT and just love. You'll go into the DMT universe. You'll like become one with the universe. You'll feel connected to every atom. And you just realize you got to love each other. But that is the truth. Like
you got to realize everyone's different and just do your thing.
Yeah. Unless you're
Just
doing
don't
like
be weird.
obviously heinous things like raping children. Like if you were, you started talking about having sex with dogs. I brought into raping.
I was like, you just jumped to that instead. But mine.
Like unless you're doing like actually terrible things, don't really have a problem with people. Like I am Christian. And people talk about like God hates gay people or something like that. It says in the Bible, God loves everybody, but he can hate the actions. And I could like not agree with your actions. I can hate your actions. Like, I'm not going to give an example because I'm just going to go back to a truly terrible example like we both had given now. But as long as you just accept people for who they are and not really care that like two consenting adults, like we're all just, my mind's all over the place right now.
I was like, where are you taking this right now?
I really did like go Joe Rogan, pop some DMT. I'm in that DMT universe. The point is, do whatever you want in your boat, just don't sink mine.
Yeah. Don't yuck my yum.
What?
Don't yuck my yum.
What's that?
Don't like.
Oh,
don't yuck my yum. Don't say my thing's disgusting when I think it's good.
Okay. Okay. That's an interesting. I like that. Don't yuck my yum. Mine's a little more elaborate. Do what you want in your boat. Just don't sink mine.
Yeah.
But seriously, people, just stop hating each other. Like, also don't be snowflakes and be offended by what people say all the time. Just
Otherwise, you're just gonna be depressed all the time.
Yeah, you're gonna be depressed all the time. Everything's gonna eventually just become more and more so things to be offended by. It's just annoying. I don't like it. I like talking to people about positive things, not negative things. Like bestiality. Let's not talk about that, David. I still think that's hilarious. You were just saying things and he's
go
like,
to the extreme, all right? You gotta go to the extreme before you draw it back.
Oh my gosh, that was so funny. That's often true in comedies, go to the extreme, draw it back.
Yep.
Like I watched Jojo Rabbit. Have you seen the advertisement for that?
Seen the advertisements. It's the Nazi Disney movie, right?
Yeah. I don't know if it's Disney,
I feel
but
like it's Disney.
that's a fairly simple way to put it. It's about a kid in Nazi Germany. He's in Hitler Youth, and his mom is Scarlett Johansson, and he like...
I'm jealous.
Heck yeah, we all are. No, wait. No, I'm not. If she was my mom, I wouldn't be able to do anything. Take it back now. I take it back.
Delete it.
She's my stepmom. That's better.
Oh God,
dude, why is there so much porn on that? That's
all right.
freaky.
We should end it right there.
That's oh my gosh. That's so gross. Like if you open any porn thing, I don't really watch porn anymore because I just don't like want that in my mind. But it used to be like it probably still is. Like you open, say, Pornhub, the main porn site, and it's just riddled with like stepmom, stepbrother, stepsister, step everything. And it's like, oh, you're so naughty, step bro. Ew. Ew. Shut up. Ew. If you're watching that, stop it. Get some help. Please.
Stop it. Get some help.
Who was that? Michael Jordan did that?
Like an old commercial.
I love
like
that.
Early 90s, I want to say.
I love how we turn memes out of everything.
Yeah.
Memes used to be so...
Rage comics. Those were the days.
Memes used to be like bland. Remember that Velociraptor that was like this?
The truth one? Or it was like the thought, the one that would like provoke thoughts or something?
Yeah.
Velociraptor, that's what it was.
Velociraptor. Yep, you're right. I didn't like that meme because I've always had like sick and twisted humor, and it's just so bland for me. And now as memes have become more prominent and like the meme community make memes out of everything, there's so many good memes now. And when I say good memes, I say sick and twisted memes.
I mean, that's just how it is. We relate to it.
I love it. In my stand-up, I say in my stand-up, in the stand-up I'm writing, because I'm not even there yet, I start off talking about how I enjoy other people's discomfort because I think it's hilarious. Yeah. And it's also like a coping mechanism of mine. When I was at my grandma's funeral, this was my biological grandma, so I barely even remembered her. But when I was at her funeral, somebody was up there and they were clearly uncomfortable and fidgety, and they were crying and they were trying to read their thing. And I was sitting in the back row, my dad to my left, my mom to my right, and I was like, and my dad nudged me, "Shut up! What are you doing?" It just made me laugh more. Oh, people's discomfort I find hysterical, and oftentimes I'll lead off a conversation with, like, "Here, introduce yourself to me like a normal person."
Hi, I'm David.
Hi, David. I'm Noah.
Trains.
I'm adopted. I've done that so many times. Right. It's hilarious.
Cool.
We had some neighbors. Some neighbors moved in. Luckily, they were very funny people. They had good sense of humor. They moved into this house that was all like drug addicts, and there's like heroin needles all around the house. Like they spent many months cleaning out everything, and they basically remade an entirely new house. Mm-hmm. And they moved into this house, and we went for the greeting party. And there's like a group of people around my age. And I said, "Hi, I'm Noah. I'm adopted." And they were like, I just started making jokes. I just started making jokes about it. And eventually they loosened up because
they realized you're not like uncomfortable about it.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's hilarious. I love it. I always whip it up. There's a Vine. I don't remember the kids. He's the one that he was sitting in the bathtub with all the spoons, and he had like the spoons on his eyes. He's like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't see there. I was blocking out the haters." And he did a Vine where it was it's hard to remember. That's another reason aliens could be so superior to us. They could have like
a hard drive,
flawless memory, flawless.
Yeah.
They could be so much larger to it. They could like squash us with their thumb. They might even not have thumbs. They might have little pinchers, or like they might just be a worm and they use their tail to grab things. Aliens, so different than what we think. So different.
Where are they?
Or they could be exactly like us, but blue. Yeah, exactly. All these alien shows are like, oh, aliens are just the way we are, but they have horns and they're blue. And they've got eyes like us, they got a nose like us, they got a mouth like us, they got ears like us.
Yeah.
They've got eyebrows like us, like Vulcans in Star Trek.
Yeah.
The only difference is like they're stronger, they're like emotionless, and they've got the weird eyebrows.
Yeah.
Really? That's an alien? That's your thought of an alien?
I know 3 people I work with that look like that.
I love it how girls' eyebrows are just getting weirder and weirder. It used to be like, fill out your eyebrows, give it a little extra pop so they look good, so like better expressions.
Now
And
it's
then
like a
it
graph.
got into like thin your eyebrow. This part's bigger, this part's non-existent. It points up, it comes down. Sometimes you get the girls that they get the fake eyebrow tattoos, but then when they look in the mirror, it's like all jagged and like uneven and ugh. I feel bad for women because a lot of their power is like the fact that they basically control whether or not you get to quote mate.
I'm gonna stay out of this one.
All right, doesn't bother me. I'll say what I want. That's a lot of women's like power and control. They're basically they control that. And oftentimes when they get older, they lose that. Even like after menopause, that's like literally out. It's out the window. They lose that ability to like say like yes or no and control that part. And when women are getting older, they're getting wrinklier and stuff. And oftentimes with men, there's many memes and talks about it. Like men get like a gray hair and the man thinks he's going to like get all bald and withery and gross. But the woman thinks he's going to get like nice gray hair, a little bit of wrinkles, like look nice, handsome, older man. And with women, like pretty much a gray hair just universally means like no longer attractive, no longer viable, stuff like that. It's really unfortunate for them. There's a lot. Women's bodies work against them. Oh my gosh. As a little kid, obviously didn't know about this. And then you start learning about like periods and stuff. And you're like, why are women just like jerks like a week out of the month? And that's not all women. Some aren't really affected. Some it like affects, but they still like self-control, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Every person's different. But women's bodies work against them. Like the more estrogen they have, like the bigger boobs, bigger butt, everything that makes them like more, not too much estrogen, no, because I think like too much estrogen causes miscarriage. Isn't that the premise of like birth control or something like that?
I think so. Yeah, I think you just like
this is just two men talking about birth control, but like it's a good thing, but basically too much testosterone in a male just means you're jacked and you get things done. That's pretty much what that means. Like testosterone makes us feel good, gives us energy, makes us stronger. But like estrogen, it's got its ups and downs, and the downs are just like poor mood and like cramps and putting on a lot of excess weight, all that stuff. Man, women got it tough. You got to recognize.
They have to deal with us.
Yeah, they got to deal with us. All this testosterone. Men are pigs. Men are definitely our pigs. That is a fact. We just got to learn how to control it. Like women learn how to control it, or they become a raging hormonal ass, and nobody wants to hang around them. The same thing can happen for men. We can become raging hormonal men, where we just want to like jump on everything we see, and we just become jerks, etc. Hello. Come on in. Come on. Come on over. What's going on? Nice dances.
This is Daniel.
This is Daniel. Nice to meet you, Daniel. I'm Noah. We're doing a podcast. Oh. This your brother?
Yes.
Hey, Snowball, right?
It's Coco.
Coconut. That's right.
I will leave on asking what the podcast is about.
Everything. Anything and everything. My little motto is I talk to anyone, anywhere about anything. Right now we're talking about hormonal men.
You want to get her out of here too?
You want to join?
No, I'm married. That's all over.
All right.
Can't talk about that anymore.
Come here, Coco. Look at this cute dog. Come here, Coco. You cutie. Show Coco to the camera. Everybody, look at this cute dog.
Oh man, she doesn't like getting picked up all the time.
Look at this. She's so cute.
She's I want to
So
say 1 year old
soft, too.
now. She just turned 1.
So cute.
Ooh. Thank you.
Nice to meet you. Toodaloo. The only reason I noticed that, I swear, if we didn't have the mirror here, I would have just seen the figure in my left and would have just assumed it was Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
And unless he moved a lot, like if he walked over and stood there, I wouldn't even have noticed. I only noticed because I saw the light in the mirror and I saw the door open.
That's fair.
Want to keep talking about raging hormonal men? You want to switch it up? Let's go back to video games. You're clearly a gamer. And
That's true.
I love video games too. You said you're into modding, right? Or at least were?
I used to really, at least I really enjoyed watching people do it. And I attempted it once. My plan was to take a GameCube because I, at the time, had like, I want to say 4 GameCubes. It was insane. They were like, I could just pick them up for like $15 for like a GameCube and a controller. And I was like, might as well.
Yeah.
So I had like 4. And I went through a tutorial. I tore one apart and I would like started to solder it a bit and was figuring it out. And I couldn't quite get it to display.
This is a Wii?
Yes.
This red thing
That is like a
isn't shaped
special
like a
edition
Wii?
Wii, and it doesn't have GameCube ports. It just plays discs. You can pull it out.
What the heck?
That hatch, I don't think it's attached to anything. Yeah. So there's like a little button in the corner, and it just like flops open.
Oh,
It's almost just like a
Cool.
disc reader.
this is like a GameCube-esque Wii.
Yeah.
Because this is how you loaded things into the GameCube. It had the buttons on the corner.
Yep.
That's so
It does
strange.
actually look quite a bit like a GameCube, now that you say it.
Even though it's not
It's really dusty.
cube shape at all, not a rectangular shape at all. It's got this weird edge to it. Sorry, I just totally interrupted because I
No,
saw
you're
this
good.
strange console I did not recognize. And it's just a Wii.
It kind of reminds me of like a Famicom type shape.
Power. Boom. This is very strange.
Yeah.
Do you have any other like strange consoles in here? Console knockoffs, whatever?
I don't think console wise. I do have so that right there, right underneath Claptrap. I don't know if you can reach it, but that is a
Yeah, I see it.
portable SNES player. He's grabbing it. I think I have Legend of Zelda in there. Oh no, it's Super Mario World. So I personally prefer playing it on the big screen, but this does work as well if you like having it on the go.
Yeah. I sent you a video yesterday. Somebody made the GameCube
I need to charge it.
controller Joy-Cons for the Switch.
Yeah.
If you're into modding or like Switch or anything like that, Smash Bros, check it out. It was a really cool video. And have you considered making anything like that?
Yeah, one of the first ones I was actually going to like attempt was for doing the Switch Joy-Con, changing out the little button things to metal ones. I don't know if you've seen that. So
They're just like a better click.
they break pretty easily is the biggest problem right now.
Mm-hmm. Grabbing it right now. You've got when you pull out the Joy-Con, right? The little buttons right
So
there that you use when
would
you're
open
using the
this
single
up
Joy-Con.
and you would change this to a metal piece.
Oh, that button.
Yeah, this
Okay.
back button.
The back
It's-
button you use to eject and insert the Joy-Con from the Switch.
Yeah, it's just a little switch on there, but people were having problems. They would just eventually wear down.
Mm-hmm.
after times and times again. Like even mine, it clicks in there, but
Is that the garage?
every
Okay.
every once in a while, like it won't really detect it's all the way in. So if I like, oh, it doesn't want to do it. Sometimes I can see the light in here, like it's wireless,
Mhm.
and it's showing the light, and I'm like, oh crap. So you would open it up, and you would just change that piece out, and it's like you could buy the piece on eBay for like 10 cents or
Yeah.
something plus shipping. Like it's really cheap. But it's just I watched a tutorial, and even then I was like, there's so much that could go wrong, and this
Yep.
Joy-Con is like
Yep.
$35. I'm not about
Yeah,
to
Joy-Cons are so expensive.
yeah,
Oh
I'm not
my
about to just like
gosh.
lose
It's
a Joy-Con.
$80 for a pair.
But yeah.
Yeah, with my Switch, not Black Friday, but last Black Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 2020, 2019. So the Black Friday of 2018, I got more Joy-Cons and a Pro controller and a little charging spot that you can set the Pro controller and the 2 extra Joy-Cons in.
Yeah.
And I also got like some extra games, a laptop. I saved up a lot of money, and I had a bunch of things I wanted to get on Black Friday. And I just, on Black Friday, bought it all.
Is that when you came into work and you were just like playing Smash? No, that was a different time.
Yes. No, that was the release of Smash. Of
You're just
Smash
playing it
Ultimate
at
for
work.
the Switch. Yeah, it came out a day. It came out like midnight this day, but in certain locations you could get it at
The night
8
before.
o'clock the day before.
Yeah.
And so with I don't remember if we were still dating or if we had just broken up, but I'll just say with my girlfriend at the time, we went and waited in line,
Mm-hmm.
and I had Brawlhalla on my Switch just to sort of tide me
Pass
over
time.
until I got to Brawl,
Yeah.
until I got to Ultimate Smash Bros. And we were sitting in line playing that, and I looked over, and a bunch of people were actually doing the exact same thing.
Playing Brawlhalla.
They were playing Brawlhalla on their Switch, and they had a second person they were playing it with. And I think we were like third in line. And when I got it, I also had a monitor. I got a monitor because I always played my Switch on
Like
just
a portable
handheld.
one.
No, I just picked up a monitor from Best Buy. It just had a handle to help carry.
Okay.
And when I walked into Buffalo, I just said, any table works. They sat us like right in the middle, and I set down the monitor, which was bigger than the table. So it made the table bigger.
Yeah.
And I set up the Switch, gave her a Joy-Con. I had a Joy-Con. And I think Rebecca was our server. And she asked if we could get something. I just said something like simple. And then we were sitting there playing at Buffalo, playing Smash
Mhm.
Bros. And it was so cool because while we were there, we saw like 3 other people walk in with a copy of Smash Bros. In their hand. And they looked at us and they're like, dang it, I should have done that. It was a blast. That wasn't Black Friday. That was the day Smash Bros. Came out. But for Black Friday, I ordered all these things, and I waited because Pro controller, $80, pair of Joy-Cons, $80, and all this stuff. And I think I got each one of them for $50
It's
on
not
Black
bad.
Friday.
That's pretty good.
That's like the price of a PlayStation controller. So
Yeah.
clearly Nintendo's marking up their prices, but it was awesome. My keys?
Yeah.
What's up?
Oh, he probably needs to move your car.
Oh, sure. We can hit it right now. All right. Thank you for tuning in to the Rootless Minds podcast. Again, I had David on. David, do you have any people want to check out a YouTube channel, follow on Instagram, anything like that?
No, it was just nice sitting here.
All right. We're heading out. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Bye-bye.
But it is what it is. Some people got too much pride. Some people always gonna lie, but it is what it is. Some people ain't gonna change. They gonna be the same till they die. It is what it is. Some people always gonna be fake. Some people always gonna hate. It is what it is. I got a lot on my plate, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is.